Let me open this up. And then there was light. Is there light? Is there light, little baby? Turn this thing on. Let me get some light in here. What's up, little baby? Dude, my hair looks super gray, man. Let's see if you can. Let's see if I got something better than this thing. No, I think that's about it. I think that's the best thing I can do. What's up, beautiful people of the Grams? This is Jose Trujillo, man. Hope you guys can see my je ne sais quoi right here. Yeah, that's the best thing I can do right now. I think other than that, it's going to be like up here. Maybe it's not that bad if it's up here. Who knows? So I'm in my home. Let's see if you can see me. No, it's going to be too much. We're going to keep it like that. We're going to keep it low. It's going to be too much. I don't know where my tripod is. We had a tripod. Took it to the studio. Dude, I got everything but a tripod, man. I got all kinds of stuff. I got all kinds of stuff except the tripod. Hope everybody's doing great today. It's Sunday. Sunday. Bow, wow. Bow, 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 bow. And I'm here in my home. Mi casa es tu casa, little baby. Let's see, let me wave at you. Let's see, you're so waved at. Just came back from a family gathering on my wife's side, and yeah, it's just been chill. It's been nothing but chill today. Probably gonna chill. I'm gonna lay back and chill, watch some TV. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see what it'll be. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jose Trujillo. Jose, Jose, Trujillo, Trujillo, and I'm an artist. I've been an artist for, I don't know, since I can remember. You know, I've had one of those stories since I was a kid. I picked up how's it going, Esther? I picked up the pen. The pencil, the mighty pencil, and I started drawing something. My mother wanted me to be a priest, so I studied theology for 4 years. I went to the Santa Barbara what is it called? Seminary of St. John's in Santa Barbara. I didn't want to stay there. I didn't like the vibe. I don't like the vibe of the religious vibe or anything like that. When I was younger, I did like theology, so I went into that. So I got interested early on in philosophy. Even though I was studying theology, I got interested in pre-Socratic philosophy, and ever since then I got bit by that bug of the pre-Socratic and Stoic philosophers. That really helped me pay attention to art more in depth. I know it seems kind of odd, right? What the hell does that have to do with art? Especially for a Mexican kid who could barely speak English, immigrant kid here in the States. I was very busy trying to figure things out in my home in the States, but at the same time, I was very busy also, learning, learning everything I could about art, fine art. There's something. It goes together. It really goes together. It's a symbiotic discipline, I think. Philosophy and art, they just kind of go together. Hey, how's it going? What's up? And so I talk about all sorts of things here regarding that. My upbringing, and as an artist, as a young artist, I think it's been interesting. It's been very, very, very interesting to be an artist. The process of becoming an artist, a full-time artist now. I've been a full-time artist for the past 10 years. I chose a very weird vehicle. I'll tell you a little bit about it. A very weird vehicle. The auctions. The auctions on eBay is what I don't even know if I chose it. I just kind of stumbled on it. But this was after me being a full-time artist. Even a more weird vehicle was Craigslist. So I went from exhibiting my works in different galleries, some prestigious, some not, around the States, anywhere between the galleries and from the West Coast in California and in here in Arizona and Texas and all the way to galleries in New York and Virginia and places like that. So let's see, how has philosophy influenced your art? You have our support. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. Mr. Creative Industries, thank you. Philosophy influenced my art in a very big way. What's up, Rudy? How's it going? I think it just goes together, So the way it did is because I started paying attention to first of all, the history of it. It's very rich. Philosophy is the dialogue of dialogues. It brings everything. It centers everything. I feel like it's the nucleus. It really is. And that sounds super stupid and pretentious, but it is the nucleus of everything. I think that anything written is very, very important. And nowadays, a lot of things are written. Right? A lot of things are written. But back in the day, if something was written, it's pretty important. It's pretty important if it was written. Considering, 99% of the population couldn't read or write. So if it was written, it was pretty important. Very cool, Rudy. And so not that long ago, probably go back 200 years ago, the population still, there was illiteracy in the population was major still. It was over 80%. I don't know if that has changed. I don't keep up with that. I don't study those things. I'm definitely not into anthropology or anything like that. But so anyways, before I start rambling, one thing I'm good at is rambling. Before I start rambling here, philosophy really has influenced me for many reasons, but the main one is specifically the pre-Socratic philosophy or Stoic philosophy has helped me because it focuses on present moment awareness, and it's extremely important to tap into that. New Age philosophy, I believe, somewhat is a continuation of that or a reflection of that New Age philosophy. And so, for those of you who are like into New Age stuff, like I don't know what is considered New Age, beyond law of attraction type of stuff, but more in the lines of Zen, Zen philosophy and things like books by Eckhart Tolle and that type of stuff. That's pretty much pre-Socratic philosophy. It's pretty much the same thing. I mean, it is the same thing in my eyes. It's just explained in a different, in a more contemporary way. But so to make the story short, philosophy helped me see things. Tap into the Zaidists. Oh, I love that. I'm gonna make a note of that. Make a note of that. So basically, what it's done is that painting is very difficult. Okay, painting is very difficult, and the reason why it's not painting itself. It's not difficult, but the creative process of it, your mind, makes it very difficult because human beings are very difficult by nature, which is are. We don't just do things; we think about doing things, and that precisely is what makes it difficult. We're thinking beings. We're not. We're human beings, but we like to. We're very we're very excited about thinking. We've been very excited about thinking for thousands and thousands of years. We just are. And so because we like to think about things, we make things more difficult. Which is due. Imagine a relationship without thinking about it so much, without the process of thinking. And thinking is not really what we do. What we do is we overthink. Ultimately, what we do is we overthink, and that's the problem. If we stopped at thinking, everything would be marvelous. But we don't do that. We second guess, we stress about it, we go back and forth. I'm going to go paint something. We don't just say, I'm going to go paint something, and then you use your mind and you think about what you're going to paint. You say, okay, this. We don't do that. We're not blessed that way. Most of us don't do that. The vast majority of us, what we do is we think about it, then we go back and forth with it. And then we're afraid of moving forward, and we go back and we're like, no, hold on. And then we start overthinking. The process of overthinking is what makes it so damn difficult. And that's why most people don't get to be artists. Yeah, thinking is clarifying. Thinking is absolutely, it's a gift. The fact that we can think, it's a gift. Overthinking is not a gift. Overthinking is a burden. But the problem is that most of us overthink. Most of us do. And so a lot of people can't tap into being artists because they don't know how to overcome the process of overthinking. They don't get to it. Everybody thinks, right? Everybody. But then there comes a point where you're not just thinking, you're overthinking. Everybody goes through it. I would say just about every human being goes through it. But if you go beyond overthinking, that's the kingdom right here. When you go beyond overthinking, that's when you can start creating artwork in a way that liberates you. That's where philosophy helped me, and not philosophy as in conceptual philosophy, but it's pre-conceptual philosophy. You can even call it post-conceptual philosophy if you want to be more contemporary about it. But when you go beyond the whole idea of overthinking, when you say to yourself, "I'm going to create a piece of artwork, and I'm going to use what I know, whatever isms you learned throughout, throughout your education in art, whatever isms. I don't know. You're hooked on realism, impressionism, expressionism, whatever, and you kind of use that, right? Or maybe you don't like labels, and you say you created something new, whatever. If you just go do that, you're golden. The problem is that we don't do that. We do that, and then we overthink and we overthink, and we think we're polishing something, and you may as well be polishing something, but in art, if these puppies are not used more than this, you got yourself a problem. In art, these puppies need to be used a lot more than this and this, especially more than this. These puppies need to be used a lot more. And so what a lot of us as artists do is, I'm going to go create something, but hold on, I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this. And I think because there's this idea, or this work those puppies. Yeah, there's this philosophy that I work smart, not hard. Bullshit. Everybody works hard. And if you want to get somewhere, you better work smart too, right? I think you need both. I think this whole idea of I work smart, not hard, is almost like I personally believe it's almost like a shaming device. It's a shaming tool to look down. It's a very classist thing. It's to look down on the working class. It's like, oh, you're the idiot who works. I think about my work. And it's like, well, if you keep thinking about your work, you're never going to do anything. You kind of need both. And so I know I've ranted about this, but philosophy has helped me overcome that. But why? Because philosophy doesn't give you answers. Philosophy gives you questions. Questions is the answer. The right questions. What are the questions you need to ask yourself? And so philosophy has taught me how to ask myself questions, how to inquire, right? How to inquire. Like many of the philosophers, I think Socrates also said, maybe Seneca too. Seneca, Socrates, I think they both have said, an unexamined mind, right, where you don't inquire, it's not worth living. You have to inquire. You have to ask, why am I doing this thing this way? Or if this is art work, how much art and how much work am I doing? A lot of you out there are doing a lot of art, not enough work. I almost see more art than work. There are moments where people do more work than art. And that's, those people should probably use this a little bit more, right? Be more creative, use your senses and your thinking process a little bit more. But I don't think that's the problem or the challenge I've seen, and the challenge we're facing as artists. The challenge is that we're using this a lot more because everybody's too smart. We're all too smart. We're in the information age. And so everybody has access to lots of information, lots of answers. And I think answers are dime a dozen. What we really need is questions. We really need questions, I think. The right questions. Questions that go deeper, that penetrate deeper than what we're doing. Let me read some of the comments here. Rudy says, wow, I was just thinking about how when stress takes over my thoughts, it kills my creativity completely. Stress is the number one factor, right? It'll mess everything up. It starts with your creativity. Once it messes up your creativity, and the reason why it messes up your creativity, it's because stress is fear. Creativity and fear don't go together. Uncertainty can go with creativity, and they're symbiotic. Uncertainty and creativity are pretty much one and the same. But uncertainty does not equate to fear. You can move mountains with uncertainty. If you have uncertainty, you can move mountains. Because when you have uncertainty, you can discover things. You're somewhat gullible. And this type of gullibility is very important when creating artwork. And so uncertainty is very, very important. Uncertainty means I'm going to go paint something and I don't know where this is going. But I know it's going to go to a good place. I just don't know where. I'm going to discover it. You've taken the position of someone who discovers, and that's huge. That's huge. You're a you're a very brave person. This is why many artists, I think Paul Klee also said, Matisse definitely is quoted for saying this, creativity takes courage. Because without courage, you won't deep into the uncertainty. See, painting, sculpting, whatever you're doing requires lots of uncertainty. Yes, it requires you to know your ABCs in art and some training and whatnot. But once you have that, there's really no map to where you're going to go next. There's no map for your artwork, for your career, or whatever. There's no map for that. It's pretty much you're pretty much shooting from the hip. You're a cowboy. You're shooting from the hip, and that takes a lot of courage because you don't know where it's going. You know where it's going. You have no idea where it's going, and that's what makes it fun. That's the journey. Mr. Creative Industry says, yes, we also thinking about doing things. Yeah, lots of that. Yeah. Yes, you eventually have to implement. Absolutely. I agree with your train of thought. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, at some point you have to pull the trigger. If you're not going to pull the trigger, there is no. You can't do anything. What's happening, Jessica? Questions open doors to new ideas. Yeah, we have too many answers, and the answers just revolve around the same questions, right? This is why Einstein said, if you want to get out of the problem you find yourself in, we're going to call it problem just to be fun with it. You cannot answer, right? You cannot figure out the problem with the same way of thinking, with the same patterns. You need new questions. You cannot figure out the problem that way. You cannot figure out the answer with the same pattern in which the problem was created. And so what does that mean? That means that if you want new answers, you need new questions. Let's see, Rudy says your statement that we need questions more than answers profound makes a lot of sense. Yeah, we're in this world where we're inundated with answers, but it's and this answers come out of the noise. It's noisy. It's too noisy. We're in this information age where everything's too noisy. Everything that we see is redundant. A phrase that and you can tell if you that's why we have two ears, right? You can tell if you start paying attention to the voice of the people. You can start picking up on the signals, the trends, right? There's certain keywords, certain buzzwords that keep popping up. Information is one that's been going for over 20 years, solid, very strong. Information. Rhetoric is another one. Rhetoric. If you start paying attention to these words, a lot of it is mass, bulk, repetition. And if we go back, we start looking at artwork. We go back. I don't know. We don't have to go back that much. But even before 60s, 50s, we go back to the artist in early 20th century. We can see that a lot of the artwork was based on the industrial way of creating artwork. It was like producing. You have to be a machine. It's this production thing. A lot of it is about just getting stuff and throwing it on the wall and see what repetition, simulation. Yeah, there you go. It's just simulacra. Yeah, it's just this repetition thing. It was very obvious during the work that Warhol was doing. Right, Warhol was talking about society in that time, but if society in that time was doing this repetition, which I'm not even going to paint, right? I'm not even going to paint. I'm going to print this thing out, silk screen it and print it out. it's the same thing is happening. Yeah. Yeah, the 60s, if that was happening in the 60s, imagine that today. But today we're not doing it with artwork because it's been done. Warhol already did it. Well, some of us, like me, are a little bit nuts. I still do create a lot of work, but we're not doing it really with work. The way we're doing it is we're doing it with digital, right? We're doing it with digital. There's just repetition and constant. The buzzwords that we keep listening today is content, right? Content creation. You got to create more content. Gary Vee keeps talking about it. Create content. And so those things, if you pay attention, you start realizing there's this common thread that's been happening. This common thread. And so this is not to say that because there is content there is no quality. If there's quantity, there's no quality. I don't think that's the case. I think what happens is that we have an overload of the same. And it could be quality, but it could be the same, right? Just like Seth Godin, one of his books says, I forgot which one. I don't know if it was Limchkin or Purple Cow. I don't remember. But one of those books, he says more French fries doesn't mean more value, right? If you go to McDonald's, he's making the point that more of the same, even if it's good, doesn't mean I'm getting more value. And in reality, I think that's what we're going through as a society right now. And so those things make me think. Those things make me think. Are we doing the same thing, or are we raising new questions and we're raising new commitments too? New commitments. Are we creating new commitments so that we can bring more value, or not just more, but maybe new value? New value. Not just more of the same. One of the things that has intrigued me is things like Bitcoin. It's new value. It's not just printing more money, right? Which our governments are great at doing that. It's not just printing more money, but can we create a new form? It doesn't have to be more sophisticated. It could be, doesn't have to be, but it certainly can. But something new, not just more value, but new value. I think that's a good direction. Más de lo mismo, yeah. Yeah, it's más de lo mismo. And so in art, it's very common to see that here. On Instagram, you see artists creating artwork, and then everybody goes and we're trying to mimic somewhat of what everybody else is doing, and we do more of that. And many times it's valuable, it's very nice. Quality, right? There's a lot of quality. Hyperrealism is one of those things. Hyperrealism is one of those things. We see hyper-realistic paintings and we're like, oh my God, it's so great. But all of a sudden there's thousands of artists doing more of the same, more of this high value, of this thing that is so valuable. Society thinks it's valuable, so we just keep giving society more of that. And again, nothing wrong with that. But it's okay to think a little bit and step back and say, wait a minute. Is this more of the same, or is this new? Right? Is this more or is this new? And I noticed this with books, not just with art, with authors, with TV. You can see that on TV. Great production, great movies, great shows, right? Some of them, great shows, and it's a formula. It's formulaic. It's more of the same. I brought you another Kardashian type of show. I brought you another movie on Netflix. It's more of the same. And I think the more I pay attention to this, the more I realize, yes, that is okay. But as artists, we can also innovate. We can also innovate. We can do not just more of the same, but we can do something new. And this is not to put stresses on our shoulders and think, oh my God, I can barely paint. Now Jose is saying we have to ask ourselves this question, this problematic philosophical question of creating new. We don't have to, but it's good to dance with that question. I think it's good to dance with it every now and then. Every now and then, am I doing more of the same, or am I bringing something new? Am I bringing something new to the table? And it might not be polished. and it might not be well produced, right? It might kind of suck, but it's a new approach. I think in art that is very valuable. Imagine if there was Van Gogh and all of a sudden there was 1,000 different Van Goghs. This is what we've done with TV. This is what we do with media. This is what we do with content creation. TikTok video. Dance, dance, dance. And then all of a sudden everybody's dancing the same way. And it's the same thing. It's just repeated. It just goes around and it's the same thing. Some of it is very, very well produced, high value, I guess. But it's more of the same. They're giving me more of the same. And the more I pay attention to it, the more I realize I think human beings are hungry for new. I think we are. I am. I don't know about other people, but I am. Look. This is a professional way of when you're painting portraits. Make sure you put this two together every time you're painting portraits. Anyways, that was funny. So it's a portrait joke. Let's see. I like how the director Woody Allen would dare to make flops in between his success. Yeah, taking chances. I mean, ultimately, artists taking chances. Art is about many things, but one of the things is about uncertainty. The main thing about art is uncertainty. Uncertainty is where creativity is. It's in the unknown. If you know where something is going, okay, that is not art. If you know where it's going, and it's not art. Now, if you don't know where it's going, but you have full presence, not necessarily control, but you're there fully, that's art. If you don't know where it's going, but you're sleeping on the way, it's not art. It's not a regression of awareness. You got to be fully aware. I don't know where this thing is going, but my eyes are peeled, right? My eyes are fully peeled, and I'm paying attention. I have no idea where this is going. That's art. In my opinion, that is art. If you know where it's going, it's like a journey. If you know where you're gonna stop, what's gonna happen next, that's not a journey. That's at best that's a trip. That's not a journey. A journey is where you don't know where you're gonna spend the night. That night, that's a journey. If you know where your hotel is, if you know where you're gonna go walking, if everything's set up and laid, step after step, that's a trip. And trips are nice. People, we love taking trips. But if you want to take a journey, you can't know where you're going. You have an objective. You're like, well, maybe that way, right? But everything's uncertain. You don't know where you're going to eat. You don't even know if there's food where you're going. There might not be. You better take a little bit something here. Maybe prepare a little bit. Maybe not prepare. I don't know, right? It's a lot of it is just chances. Rudy says the best movies are done by independents. They are not part of the formula. Yeah, best movies. Absolutely. Best books, too. Best books. Mr. Creative Industries says the Matrix has you. When a machine tells everyone to do more of the same. Yeah. I'm hungry for new. I think a lot of us are hungry for new. What do you think about Munch? You talking about Edvard Munch, the German artist? I think he's German, right? Pretty kick-ass. He was definitely new. He was definitely not more of the same. What's happening, Chris? Just in the car, nice. Sophie says, do you think that if someone was to find a way to combine something like pop art and abstract art would succeed? I don't know. Again, right? I'm really glad we're having this dialogue, even though it's more of a monologue of me here, but you guys are writing, so I'm glad we're having this dialogue here. The mistake here that we can make as artists is looking for formulas, kind of like Moneyball. We're looking for formulas. I know I've done that. I do that from time to time. And I kind of have to take a step back when I do that. The mistake is to look for formulas. If I mix this with mix, will that work? If I do this, will that work? We're looking for what works. And when we look for what works, we're forgetting the main ingredient. The main ingredient of something is generosity. I've talked about this many times. The main ingredient is generosity, and generosity doesn't always look like more of the same, right? Generosity is simply bringing something to someone, thinking from their point of view, not yours, thinking from their point of view. And so it's service, ultimately, right? What can I do to service? What can I bring? And again, it can be a formula. It can be, but you can only realize it's a formula when you look back, because you can only trace the steps when you look back. That's something that Steve Jobs taught us already. He said you can never connect the dots on the way forward. You can only connect the dots on the way when you look back, and so if you look back and you realize that you mixed that, that's awesome. But preferably, don't do that on the way forward. If that makes any sense. On the way forward, if you're trying to figure out something that works, do it more from generosity. Come from generosity. And generosity is to not be selfish, right? And what is that, to not be selfish as an artist? It's a really good question. How can I not be selfish as an artist? How can I remove myself from the equation so that I can give of myself? That's a good question to ask, I think. It's a very good question to ask. And you can ask it in different ways. The way I ask it is, how can I not be selfish? And the only reason I ask it that way, it's because I would normally ask it, how can I be more generous, right? But I remember listening to Warren Buffett's partner one day saying that his business partner, I forgot his name, but his business partner was saying, the very smart guy, he said, instead of asking the question directly, invert it. And it's much easier to tackle it that way, invert it. So instead of saying, how can I be more generous, ask yourself, how can I, and this is the question I'm asking myself, right? How can I be more generous? Can I ask myself, how can I be less selfish? And so look for all the things that make you selfish and just avoid them, right? Look for all the things. Well, is this selfish? And avoid that. Is this selfish? Is this selfish? Because the less selfish I can be as an artist, the more generous I can be. And generosity, in my opinion, is what wins in art. Is the main ingredient. Because art is generous. Art is not about keeping. Art is about giving. And let's see, Mr. Creative Industry says, when artists are hungry for new, a renaissance is not far away. I love that. That is very true. Chris says gold. I think I saw Diana here. Separating Diana. And so it's not a formula, right? We would like it for it to be a formula, but it's not a formula. This life is a journey, not a destination. Aerosmith. Dude, I love Aerosmith. I used to listen to Aerosmith a lot. Yeah. So I know that this is one of those a little bit more philosophical days. But every now and then we throw it a little bit more. We throw in a little something of that into our day. A little bit of that philosophy. This is not to create stress in anybody. That's the last thing I want. Anyone be thinking, oh shit, no, he's asking. No, it's very simple. We started out by saying that we wanted to ask it, right? It's important to ask new questions. If we want new answers, we need to ask new questions, because we keep getting the same. We keep getting more of the same. And sometimes the same is good, but we keep getting more. I mean, shit, man, I love a good steak, but I don't want it every day. Or just because I love a good steak doesn't mean I want 100 of them a day. And so, yes, I love good stuff, but I don't want more of the same. Can I have something else? Can you put in some veggies in there? Can you put in some, I don't know, can you put in a soup? Can you put in an ice cream? Does it have to be food? I'm talking about the fulfillments and the pleasures of life. Does it have to be food? Can it be something else? Can it be entertainment? Now you're really expanding and you're thinking differently. Same thing in art. Man, I really love painting. I really love artwork. I really love landscapes or whatever. But does it have to be the same as what everybody else is doing? Can I move? Now, by the way, can I do this intentional but without stress? Can I do that? And if I can't, it's okay. Can I go back? Because I don't want to do it if it's going to cause stress. Because if it's going to cause stress, it's not going to be creative. Stressful stuff does not create. If it's creative, it's done enthusiastically. The word alone gives you the answer. Okay? If it's not enthusiastic, what you're doing, if you're not enthusiastic, you're not being creative. Creative is playing. It's uncertainty. You're playing. It's like a child. You're playing with something. You're excited, right? But more than excitement is a good feeling because it's the blood flowing. More than excitement is enthusiasm. The word gives it away. In theos, right? In God or godly. It's the God within, right? There needs to be this peace inside of it. It's not stress. You could be intense about it, but it cannot have stress. And so if you're creating artwork and you're feeling stressed, figure out how to drop the stress. One of the things that I do to drop the stress levels when I'm creating artwork is I do not give myself an outcome. I say to myself, I will push paint today. And if I'm any good, I'll push paint pretty good. I'll make it look like something. But I'm just going to push paint. If I'm not very good, well, I'm going to push paint. And whatever comes out of me pushing paint around is the culmination of all the years I've been practicing, or of all the months I've been practicing, or whatever, right? What I know how to do. You will never push out something that you don't know how to do. You always push out whatever you know. So if you've been practicing painting for a year, 6 months, or 10 years, that will come out whether you want to or not. It will inevitably come out. So your job is not to do something good. Good is the result of the past. So the fuck with the past, right? Get it off. Because you already did it. You see what I'm saying? And so when you're painting, you cannot give yourself an expectation. I need to do this good. That is not your job. That is the job of your training. That's the job of the past. You can only push paint. Your job is to only push paint. It's your only job. And so when I give myself that job, today I'm just going to push paint. Right? If I know how to do something, it'll come out. If I don't, it's okay. Whatever I don't know will also come out. I cannot fight that. And so all stress levels drop. Because I'm not going for an outcome. Since I'm not trying to work on the past, I'm working right now. I hope that makes sense. That's how I do it. Let's see. Diana says, "Yep, I'm back home late for the live though." You're early enough. You're good. Let's see. Rudy says, "It's what I needed today. I love this conversation. It's very cool. Very cool. Well, I'm happy you're here too, Rudy." Mr. Creative Industry says, "Intentional without stress is a state of flow." Yeah, that's the state of flow. You're intentional about it, right? You're moving towards something. You're not really sure. Because you're not sure, there's no stress. Stress is only happens when you're trying to meet this with the exterior. The interior does not match the exterior, and then therefore stress, friction happens. Right? But when you're just doing, and you're not trying to, you drop this. When you're just doing, there's nothing to match. By the way, when you're just doing, The intuitiveness comes up. It's a different type of intelligence. It doesn't come from here. The intelligence that comes up is complete. It's not just mind stuff. It's not just your brain. It's complete intelligence. It's primordial intelligence. It's the intelligence of God. It's not yours. It doesn't belong to anybody. It's a collective. It's everybody's. It's everything and everyone, right? It's the one. And so that intelligence is what people say, I tapped into that. The state of flow or oneness or present moment or whatever you want to call it. Or in those of you who are Christian, or I grew up Christian, Catholic, in spirit. People call it that, in the Holy Spirit or in spirit intelligence. It doesn't matter how you call it. It is the same. It is the same. It's not mental. It's not mental. It's divine inspiration or whatever you want to call it. That happens only when you drop this. You're using it, but you're not aware that you're using it because it's the trust. And that's why you only use your hands. That's why in the beginning of this video I said, these puppies need to be used more than this. If these puppies are not being used enough, you're not trusting. When you try to use this more than this, than rolling up your sleeves, you're not trusting. You're not trusting. Because if you had trust, you would roll up your sleeves and start moving. Right? If you had trust. But if there's no trust, if there's no trust, you're gonna sit there and you'll be like, oh man, I don't know how this is gonna work. Some people say if I have trust, it means I'm not doing because it'll get done on its own. Well, try that too. I don't know. I've never tried that. Pretty much everything that I've done, I had to roll up my sleeves. Gladly roll up my sleeves to go and help push. I don't do it myself, of course. It takes a lot of force. It's a lot of energy to make something happen. But I do have to be one of those people pushing there as well. Let's see. Marina says, regain the characteristics of a child to open your creativity and enjoyment. The painting will look as your attitude when you were creating it. Yeah. The painting ultimately is going to... The problem that we have as artists is that we're trying to get the painting to satisfy us. Okay? We're trying to get the painting to satisfy us. I learned this over years of hitting my head on the wall, right? The same problem over and over. How do I get the painting to satisfy me? It's the wrong question. It's the wrong question. The way I learned to look at it after so many bumps in my head is I need to be satisfied as I am creating, right? Not the outcome. And it's not that I need to be satisfied, is I need to find the joy in the creation. One good way to measure if you are doing something good is how much joy is there in here. If there's no joy, you might not be doing something very good. You might be doing something, kicking and screaming. And that closes creativity. It's like a water hose. It closes creativity. The more relaxed you are, it expands, right? The more tight and stressed you are, you're choking that thing. You're choking that. Everything. It's a physiological thing happening. There's less breathing. The blood's not flowing right. It's all, you're hunched over. You're tense. And then you're relaxed, everything flows better. The reason why is because this shit is not getting in the way. This is a tool, but for most of us, it's not a tool. It's a burden. For the vast majority of us, it's a burden. It doesn't mean that you have to not use it. No. I think of it as a car, The mind is like a car. You can have it on, but not going anywhere. And that's a problem. And it's like a car. If you're gonna have it on, well, you're gonna drive somewhere, right? A lot of the times we just have this thing on, but it's not going anywhere. And so we're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna work on my painting and this, and it's gonna do that. And, oh my God, it's not looking the way that I want it to. It's not supposed to. You've taken this way too far, way too far, and so the dissatisfaction comes in. By the way, this doesn't just apply in art. This applies in every area of our lives. It's the same, because it's the same mechanism. It's you train to do something, whatever training is. You learn how to do something. Whether you do it professionally, or you're doing it outstanding, or you're doing it in a mediocre way, it doesn't matter. You're doing something, whether it's cooking something, making a lasagna or whatever, or you're, I don't know, having conversations with your spouse, and you don't know how to have a conversation with your spouse. You could do it poorly and you could do it great. But one thing is for sure, whether you're doing it poorly or great, if there's too much of this, you're going to fuck it up. It's always that. It is always that. Because this gets you to create stress, anxiety, or, you tighten up. And that starts messing everything up. And I've realized that when I'm creating artwork. I realized that. I'm like, so my job is not to create something great or to create something new. The new stuff will come out of the relaxed me. If I'm relaxed, then I can paint something, and before you know it, the good stuff starts coming out. Starts coming because you're allowing it to come out. Whatever good is. Don't wait for it. Don't wait for the good. Expect it, but don't wait for it. Expect it. Something good will come. I just don't know when. But don't wait for it. Don't be like, oh my God, but when is this good thing going to happen? When am I going to paint well? When am I going to do something original? No, your only job is to paint. Because when you're painting, it's like opening the door. You're opening the door to welcome the good stuff. But you don't know when the good stuff comes in. This is well expressed for those of you who are into Bible reading or Christianity. This is well explained in the, I believe it's the virgins waiting for the brides with the oil lamps. It's well explained there. Your lamp has to be on. You have to have oil in your lamp, right? So when the groom comes, you're ready. When the groom comes, you're ready. If you don't, because you need the lamp, right, to let them know that you're there. When the groom comes, you're ready. If you don't have oil, you don't have fire. If you don't have fire, the groom doesn't know where you're at. And so it's the same thing in your artwork. There needs to be oil in your lamp. What does that mean? When you're creating artwork, all you need to do is create artwork. Don't get that bullshit expectation out. I don't need to create something great. I don't need to create something beautiful or new. No, my entire job is to be here in this moment and push paint and enjoy. And every time that you do that, you get 1 millimeter better. But don't measure it. Don't measure it. It's a little step in a very long, very high ladder. Don't measure it. 2 years, 10 years, whatever years later, you get much, much better, much better. You look back, you won't realize how much better you've gotten. No need to measure it. You don't need to measure it. It's useless to measure it. It's unquantifiable. Don't need to measure it. All you need to do is just show up, push paint. You tell yourself, today I'm going to push paint. That's what I tell myself. Today I'm going to push paint. I'm going to push paint for X amount of time. I don't know what's going to come out of this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's going to come out of this, because anything that comes out of it, it's good. Because I came here to open the door. I came here with my lamp and my oil, and I'm waiting for the groom. I came here to be a witness, right? To have my watchful eye. I'm waiting for the good stuff. I'm expecting. I'm not waiting for it. I'm expecting it. It will come. I just don't know when. So because I don't know when, every day I'm going to act as if today is the day. Every day. Maybe today is the day. But I ain't waiting for it. I'm just expecting it. And the more you do this, in my opinion, in my experience, the softer you become. You become softer when you're creating artwork. You're less tense. It's more likely when you're in that state of flow for inspirations to come. Now, when inspirations do come, and they do come, don't choke on them. Don't say, and I'm going to do more of this. It's not good. Let it come and let it go. Don't try to hold on to it. A lot of artists do this. I've seen it. I've done it myself. So a great inspiration comes, and then we go, oh yeah, now I'm going to paint this type of art or this type of figures, and I'm going to go. And then what happens is that you become dependable. You become codependent on that. And then you're not relaxed anymore. It's often like income streams for artists. I've noticed this. An artist is selling commissions, and all of a sudden they sell a certain something, and they're like, that's all I'm going to do now. I'm going to drop everything else that I've done, and this is all I'm going to do. And so you become codependent on one way of doing things, one income stream, one way. It's only this. I see artists that do this with eBay. They go and they sell artwork on eBay, and then they say, I'm going to do this auction thing, and then they become codependent. When it starts working for them, they're like, this is it. This is the only thing, and then they get their energy. If they don't know how, if it doesn't come natural for them out of their work, but comes natural, relaxed, more than likely, it's going to be like this constant battle. I've noticed that in my own experiences also. I get an inspiration of something, I use it, and then I let it go. And if I feel inspired again, as I'm working, this doesn't mean I stop working, I continue to work. But if I feel inspired again to do it, then I do it again. But if I don't, I just let it go, because I know what happens. I go and I chase it and I try to choke it. But what happens is that it chokes me. It chokes my creative flow. And so, but that's a more advanced tool. What I'm sharing here, this is more advanced. This stuff is for artists. For those of you who have been following me for a while, and you know the usual stuff that I talk about, this is some Yoda shit, man. Let's see. Sophie says, I love to come here while you're giving advice. You're so freaking wise, man. Love that. What's happening, Ken? JDS 5200 says, no, not 5200, 52,000 says, like the mix-ups between the 48 by 42's oil landscapes and the simple black and white watercolors. Yeah. That's the good stuff. Yeah, because it has to flow. The ultimate thing is that it has to flow, and for it to flow is you need to flow. What does it mean that you have to flow? You're breathing. You're not stressed. You're not carrying this burden around. You're not tense because your mind is like, it needs to look this way. As soon as you start having a hard time with a painting, there's two things to consider here. Maybe you don't know how to do that yet, and you're learning, and it's okay. Or you do know how to do it, but you're being very picky about it. Right? You're being very picky. Both of those things need to be dropped. Whether you don't know how to do it yet, or you are just being picky about it, the way to do the shit that I found out is you do, and then you release. You do, you release. The reason why Babe Ruth hit more home runs than anyone else is because he batted more. There. You do and you release. You don't, it's not because, oh my God, I have to just hit it right. No. You do some of that. Yeah, that's part of the practice, part of learning, but that's not why. The reason why is because you bat more. Right? You take more shots. You take more chances. But you release. You can't hold on to them. And so when you're painting, and then you don't go, oh my God, it needs to come out this way. It doesn't. It'll hurt you in the long run. It'll hurt you because it'll keep you tight. It'll keep you tight. Hey, baby.
Yeah, Mom.
I was gonna be like, hey, baby, you think you can get me something?
I know I like that.
This is a girl. This is a girl that loves you, man. Look at this.
Dad, I need to show you something that I think you're gonna love. Okay.
Let's see.
So, do you remember the old Lego sets, the Star Wars Lego sets?
I gotta go downstairs and get the computer.
Do you remember the original Princess Leia Lego figure?
Let me see it, boys. I'm on the live. Show me. I can't just stop. This is what he got today. He went to
It's
the
a
Lego store.
it's a replica of the original.
Oh, the original? 20 years? Nice. High five. Very cool. Let's see.
Can I show him what else I got?
You hanging out in the mansion today? I am.
The mansion. Leia.
Anthony says, I jumped to painting from the drawing only recently. And yeah, I guess it's like you say, very cool. Until Hank Aaron came along, lol. Deanna says, I noticed my best stuff comes out when I find myself looking and moving like a crazy person, meaning when I'm dancing. Yeah, because you're relaxed. You know, you're relaxed. Anything that relaxes you. Sometimes it looks like for example, when I'm upset, right? I'm like, oh, I'm upset about this. And the reason why is because I'm not thinking about the paint. I'm not upset at the painting. And so that means I'm not being conceptual about my work.
I just want the pinkies.
Oh, shit. Like, you guys just came over here like, da-da-da-da-da.
Thank you.
Hey, Dad. I got a bunch of old pieces.
About what I'm not scratching my head thing. Yeah, stressing. Yeah. Sometimes I could be upset about something else and painting, and the painting comes out good. And it's and I've thought about that. I'm like, why? Oh, because I'm not stressing about the painting. I may be upset about something else, but I'm not stressing about the painting. And so I'm relaxed about the painting. It's kind of like when you're doing something and you're like, it looks like beginner's luck. It's because you're not stressed about doing it right, because you don't know what doing it right is. That's what beginner's luck is. Beginner's luck, everybody should have beginner's luck forever, not just in the beginning. But the reason why you're so good in the beginning is because there's no stress
About getting it wrong.
about getting it wrong, because you don't know what wrong or right looks like.
Oh yeah, like okay.
Because you don't know how to do it.
When I was learning how to throw a football, the first time I threw it, the first few times it was like really bad, right? Mm-hmm. But I was like, and my friend, and then Austin was just like, just twist your fingers, right?
Right.
And then I was like, okay, and I didn't know what that meant by twisting my fingers, so I just went for it, and then boom, perfect spiral all the way through.
Yeah. And if you try to practice that and think about twisting your fingers, you're gonna get it wrong.
Yeah, now
Until you let it go.
Now I just kind of throw it, and then it works.
Yeah.
Same with when I learn my kick flips. You know, like when I think about flicking the board, I don't do it, but when I'm just like, let me do an ollie. And I'm just
Gotcha. Like, here, let me read this. Hold on. Mm-hmm. I hope to become the world's second best living artist one day. Hey, there's room. There's always room. Ken says, in reference to Babe Ruth hitting more home runs. Yeah. Oh, okay. Gotcha. I see what you meant. Yeah. Until someone else came in. Yeah. You look like you lost some weight, Jose. Looking good. I feel like I'm always looking good, regardless of. Sometimes a little bit more chunky. Sometimes a little bit more Brad Pitty.
still always the coolest dad.
Yeah, I wanted to say the same. You lost tons of weight. Well, maybe not tons, but you know what I've been doing, guys? I've been eating more often. I've been telling people this.
You've been eating more of the meals.
I've been eating more of the meals, and I've been eating more often. Dude, I'm going to look like Brad Pitt in no time. I'm going to look fucking gorgeous.
This is everything I got.
Let's see.
So I got a few plates.
Yeah.
And a bunch of these
Let me show
bunch
them.
of Halloween pieces.
Look at these guys. You can't stick it, huh?
No, I didn't mean to stick it.
Look at that.
Got so much.
How come this guy's got a green sword instead of a lightsaber? Oh, because it's not Star Wars,
It's
huh?
not Star Wars. No, I got a bunch of. So I got a bunch of people that are like a bunch of pieces that are rare. So I was like, I've never seen that before.
Cool.
That face is from the 90s, early 2000s.
Let's see.
These two are a little newer. The hat.
This one
pretty
makes
sure
this
early
one makes this
2000s.
dude happy.
And then this face is early 2000s. This hat is from their old Explorer sets.
Very cool. Very cool. Well,
Very old.
let me just say bye to my friends. Okay.
Okay.
We can get
I
started.
have to
with
ask you a
this.
few things, Dad.
Okay. All right, my friends. Well, I'm gonna leave it here. Dan and I are gonna hang out Sunday. I wanted to make this video in hopes to help you guys a little with some of the stuff that I've learned, some of the stuff that has helped me. Maybe I can, I don't know, be of some sort of help. Maybe, hopefully. So there it is, my friends. Thank you so much. I'd like to hear from you guys. If you guys have any questions or anything, do DM me. I love getting DMs. And until then, stay well and sophisticated and stuff. Anthony says, I thought it was cake until the piece fell. Yeah. Dude, cakes do look that way, huh? They're all complex now. They have all kinds of figures and stuff. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Stay well and sophisticated. Do create artwork from a relaxed place, guys. Being relaxed. Come here, dude. Say bye to people.
Bye-bye.
Doing artwork from a relaxed place is it's the ultimate. It really is. It makes everything. It makes all the difference. And again, stay relaxed by dropping expectations. Start dropping expectations. You don't need to do it good. You don't need to do it right. You just need to do it. Just do it, and it doesn't matter how it comes out, because you're not here for one time, right? If you're gonna do art, whether you're doing it professionally or not, you're gonna continue to do it because you love doing this thing, hopefully for the rest of your life. And so, what does it matter what today's painting looks like or what today's session looks like? It doesn't matter. It's going to be for the rest of your life. So,
Play with it.
play with it, and fuck it, just keep doing it. I had to. Okay. All right, everybody. Stay well and sophisticated. Peace out.